Hey guys, Mr. Offer here. History 1301. This is section 6. This will be a 3-part series. I didn't have a red, white, and blue shirt on. Fine, but I found me a red and white one there. I guess maybe I have some blue in my name tag. So now, in this section, guys, we're going to talk a lot about this is going to deal with the American Revolution. Now, one of the things I'm going to tell you is you really need to refer to the PowerPoint. And I've got it right beyond over there. I'm looking at it. I go through almost every major battle in the American Revolution. We talk about them, who won them, the different things. I do not have the time, unfortunately, in this to go over every bit of that. This will be broken into 3 parts. The first part, I'd like to kind of talk about 2 of our founding fathers. We're going to talk about one of the major battles. And then we're going to talk in the last section of really how we won the American Revolution. And it's kind of interesting how we won it. All right, now let's talk about, I told you we're going to start this off. Guys, when we talk about the Declaration of Independence, it was really, you had in June the 11th, 1776, a committee's formed, 5 men. Had to be an interesting committee. You had John Adams. Remember, Adams is the attorney. Adams will also be one of our presidents. Adams was also, and I don't think I mentioned it, guys, during the Boston Massacre, Adams was the attorney that the English brought in to defend those soldiers that shot the colonists. He was also cousins with Samuel Adams. Roger Sherman, shoemaker. Robert Livingston. This is interesting. Livingston will be involved in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. His name will appear on both of these documents. Wealthy landowner. Then my 2 favorite characters, Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. In this lecture, guys, I want to kind of really briefly kind of explain to you about Jefferson and Franklin. Golly, they're interesting guys. And I'm looking for my nickel. Okay. So, a lot of people don't realize, guys, our currency and our money has to do with our history. If you look on the back of a nickel, and I'm going to try to get that where you can see it, that is Monticello. Monticello was Jefferson's home in Virginia. So that is the back of Monticello on the back of a nickel. And if you're curious who's on the front of the nickel, there's the man himself. That's Thomas Jefferson. See if I can get it good. There you go. So, next time you get a nickel, you can think of Thomas Jefferson. So let's talk a little bit about Jefferson. The guys, Thomas Jefferson was, I think, hands down, probably one of the smartest guys that was ever president. Jefferson is an extremely smart guy. He is a writer. He is an inventor. Even on his plantation, Monticello, he all kind of stuff. He planted different plants. He tried to learn agriculture. He was into mathematics, invention. He is a Renaissance guy, okay? Jefferson, when we talk about the writing of the Declaration of Independence, you got to understand, originally, they wanted Adams to write it. Adams kind of pawned it off on Franklin. Franklin's like, well, he kind of started it, but then he said, this guy Jefferson, he's really smart. And Jefferson's a guy. Guys, you could not found a better person to draft the Declaration of Independence than Thomas Jefferson. Now, one of the things I want to challenge you guys is read the Declaration of Independence. I always question my class, how many people have read it? And maybe 1 or 2 people will raise their hand. Guys, this is a beautiful, beautiful written document, written by a man with a brilliant mind, Thomas Jefferson. It has been the model for other nations for years. Read the Declaration of Independence. It's yours. It's mine. It's our country's. We own it. Read it. Now let's talk a little bit about that document. That document was penned by Jefferson, but we don't get the original copy. Guys, the original draft that Jefferson brought to these guys, they changed it, and he had to alter it as he went. Always interesting. I promised you guys about Benjamin Franklin. Now, Benjamin Franklin, guys, he will play a big part in the American Revolution. We send Franklin to France. Now, Franklin, we think of him, he's on the $100 bill. If you ever get 100, that's old Franklin there. You'll hear people talk about, yeah, I'll take a Franklin for that. That means he'll take a $100 bill for it. Benjamin Franklin was an inventor. He was also a very Renaissance type guy. He is also one of the biggest ladies' men out there. Guys, Franklin was always having these different affairs with these young girls. And when he went to Europe, he was a heyday. He was over there meeting these young French girls that are 17, 18, 19 years old. Franklin's an old man. He's ate up with gout, can't hardly get around, but he gets around enough to romance all these girls. So he is going to be sent over to France to negotiate to get the French to help us. I've always thought Franklin had one of the neatest jobs in the American Revolution. Guys, he never fired any bullets or never was out there with a bayonet fighting some guy. But his part in this was as important as anybody that Daniel Morgan or or a Washington or anybody like that. His part's really important because he's going to be the one that they're going to send to France to negotiate with the French to help us. So I wanted to kind of explain that, the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson. We come back, we're going to visit one more time with Jefferson. I just love Thomas Jefferson, guys. I could teach an entire course on Thomas Jefferson. I think the man had tremendous talent. I think the man had tremendous flaws in his personality. And guess what? Jefferson, like me and you, was human. In history, we put these guys, we make big marble statues of them, and we write books about them, and we put them on these great pedestals. But at the end of the day, Jefferson, Franklin, Washington, Adams, all these guys, they're humans. They're men with flaws. I'm sorry, guys. They had flaws and faults. So we come back. We're going to talk about Jefferson a little bit more. Then we're going to talk about one of the most interesting battles, I think, of the American Revolution, and one of the big controversies that still surrounds that battle. We'll see you then.